Hi everyone, happy Pride Month. For those of you familiar with me, you'll know me as Koto. Today is going to be a bit more of a serious kind of thing, talking about some of my experiences growing up as a trans person, some of the things that I've went through, some of the feelings that I have had, and it's also just a chance for me to test out editing with a camera. This is a new camera, you can tell, because things look weird and the sound is probably weird. And there's probably a horrible whining voice that isn't my voice. So let's talk. I came out as trans when I was about, I want to say 14. But I also kind of want to say 15. I think I was out publicly at 15, because it was 20. No, I was 14. I was out publicly at 14. I have a viewfinder now. Well, I say viewfinder, I mean my PC screen. Anyway, I came out roughly then, and I was still in high school, and I didn't really tell many people, which is a lie. I tried not to tell many people. So the first thing that happened upon me coming out was, obviously, I told my mother, because it was the holidays. So I told my mother, I told my father, and they were fine with it, they were accepting of it. There was a lot going on, so it was a hard change, but you know. And then I told one friend in my school that I thought I was close with. We don't speak anymore, but I hold no ill will towards them or anything that may have been said. But that friend basically told everyone, outed me, I think is the term. They outed me. And that was, not great, I've gotta say. That was not a great experience. Also, can we kill the music, please? Yeah, thanks. I said serious. No, not black and white serious. And no, not sad piano music serious. What? Koto in editing, what is wrong with you? Anyway. So they told everyone, and I lost friends. I will be very honest, I lost friends. I remember specifically, I changed my name on Skype. Yep. I changed my name on Skype. And I got a very angry message from someone I thought was my friend going, "How dare you, you're not a girl, rah rah rah, change your name back, I'm being very angry. We were not friends anymore. Not friends at all. And never made up. Actually, I'd describe it as a bitter rivalry as I entered the last stages of high school, my last year of high school. But, that's not important. That may be a story for a different day. But yeah, I lost some close people who obviously weren't as close as I thought they were, and that was kind of upsetting. That kind of made me think, is this worth it? Like, I'm losing friends who've helped me through a lot. Is it worth it to transition and be happy if I'm losing so many people and obviously making so many people upset and mad? And then I was like, of course it's worth it, because otherwise I'd have to live the rest of my life hating myself, and that would be a kind of rubbish and bad. That for your Americans, that'd be trash. So I decided to carry on. One of the stories I would like to tell later on does involve how I ended up with nerve damage, so that's fun. In fact, let's tell that now. How did I end up with nerve damage? I ended up with nerve damage because I had, partly my fault, really, mostly other people, but I had a very heavy bag in high school, and it was a messenger bag because I felt more comfortable with messenger bags. They're, over the shoulder, they rest around your leg. I just felt more comfortable with them. I preferred them. But this meant that it put a lot of pressure on one shoulder because all the weight was just there on that shoulder. So eventually I ended up with a trapped nerve, which was great. So fun. Loved it. And after that, I was walking home one day. Well, I was walking one day. I think I was on my way home, but I was just, I was walking. And, some, quite frankly, idiots who didn't like the fact I was trans were following me. Can't tell if they were following me or if we just kind of walked the same way. by coincidence. I can't really tell you that for certain, but they were going the same direction with me as me, and they were behind me, and they were throwing stuff at me, and one of the things that they threw at me hit my shoulder blade, where the trapped nerve was, which then damaged the nerve. Basically, it just damaged the nerve, and now I live in pain. Now I live in pain for like the rest of my life, so that's fun. That's why you'll notice me sounding a bit in pain in some of the videos. It's not just because England is disgustingly hot right now, it's because of my nerve damage, and I also have a knotted muscle in this shoulder, but that one is my own fault because I sleep like an idiot. I sleep on my front. I'm an idiot. But yeah, so I experienced quite a lot of transphobia. Kind of do to this day, really. Like, occasionally I'll go out, I'll get my birth name shouted at me by people who used to know me back then, who just so happen to live in the same area as me now. So I'll get that shouted at me while I'm walking, and, it's not, oh, I know that person and don't know their name, but I remember this name. It's definitely not that. It's got malice to it. There's venom there, there's real, oi, it's very much an oi, birth name. I went to the shop near my house the other day, and it was actually a while ago now, but anything from like yesterday to 8 years ago could be the other day. So I'm still right, as always. But the other day I went to the shop, and some kids that my sisters know. So I stopped and spoke to them. They were like, "Are you a boy or a girl?" I was like, I'm a girl." And we had a conversation. They seemed genuinely like they wanted to learn. And then I had to go because I kind of needed to get something from the shop, and I didn't want to get there and them have none, so I had to go. And they shouted up to me saying, that's a boy, pretending to be a girl, and all that kind of stuff, and it was really hurtful, and I haven't wanted to leave the house since, on my own. I really haven't. I used to go on walks daily. I don't anymore. I've kind of just thrown myself into work. I used to do a lot. I did have some people say, well, you can report them for that. That's hate speech. And I'm like, yeah, but the most that carries is, essentially just a tolerance course. And if they didn't take the opportunity from talking to me to learn, what is a tolerance course gonna do? Because, well, we can't, the dilemma being that as it is now, the punishment does nothing. If we made it harsher, then we'd be hit with accusations of censoring free speech and all this, that, and the other. So it's kind of a tricky situation. Where do you kind of that moral thing of like that dilemma of where do you draw the line between punishment being just and censorship? Hate speech, free speech. I say that free speech ends when you do hate speech. Like, if you say a racist term, or a homophobic term, or a transphobic term, it's no longer free speech. It's hate speech. You're using your right to free speech to infringe on another person's right to freedom and happiness and expression, the human rights, freedom of expression. You're using your right to free speech to infringe on their right of expression. And the minute where you use your right to infringe on someone else's right, your right is forfeit. That's how I think it should work. I have a right to free will and to do as I wish, but I'd get put in prison for killing someone because the minute that I've done that, my human rights are kind of forfeit. Like, that right is forfeit. So that's a whole different argument, but I thought it before going into... I don't really have an objective for this video. I just want to talk. I just want to rant. I guess this is very much a ranty style thing. About just things that are on my mind because my... mainly because my counselor's off this week, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I also really need to remember to start drinking before I record these videos. Because my throat is so dry. What else can I talk about? Other stuff that's happened to me. I made loads of new friends when I came out, though. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that happened to me. I made loads of new friends, and a lot of them were also under the T umbrella of LGBTQIA. I learned a lot more about myself. I learned I was abrosexual. That was pretty cool. It explained a lot. It truly did. You know, it was great. And when I felt great in high school, especially because when I came out and people saw that the school was going to be quite accepting if they did, like, of trans people in general, not like the people, but the administration of the school was going to be very accepting of it and accommodating. It actually gave a lot of people the confidence to feel safe to come out. I noticed, like, as when I came out, a lot of other people started coming out publicly, who I'd known were closeted for a while, but, like, publicly at school, they started coming out because the school hadn't instantly run to my mother. And they knew that they could be safe if maybe their parents were not accepting. They could still be who they were at school. My college did much the same thing for a friend of mine who was out at college and couldn't be at home because their mother just wasn't accepting. So they actually found they didn't want to cause them discomfort by dead-naming them, but they didn't want to put them in danger by using their real name, like, in front of their mother. So, like, okay, here's a nickname we can use for you that's neutral. And it worked really well. And that went well. I did notice, though, that, that went well. When it comes to transphobia and stuff, though, I have noticed when I came out when I was 14, roughly 14, when I came out publicly, there was kind of this apathy towards trans people. No one cared. It wasn't, like, apart from the very few who did, it wasn't widespread, you know? There wasn't widespread transphobia. And as I got to, like, 15 and 16, that got better. Like, you know, people started being like, yeah, great, and stuff. And then apparently I hit 18 and England just went to hell or something. I don't know, because suddenly everyone just hates trans people again, like it's the 90s. And I don't know why that happened, but it did. Great. Why did this happen? Oh no. I should have seen it coming, or maybe I was just so protected by the people around me and the connections that I had, not literally, like the people that I was friends with, and I was so protected by people who loved me and the communities I was a part of, that maybe I just didn't notice. Maybe that's the thing, maybe I didn't notice the rising anti-trans sentiment in the UK or something, because all of a sudden, I just remember stopping going to an LGBT youth group that I'd been going to because I aged out of it, and suddenly the world had gone to hell. So I'm assuming that possibly I'd been slightly shielded, because it was, as the right wing would say, a safe space for snowflakes. When in reality it was a LGBT-only space for people to connect with other LGBT people and be comfortable, because there are so many youth groups where you'll either get bullied out of them, or just some heavily religious ones you just won't be allowed into in the UK if you are LGBT. So, you know, it was nice that we had that. And maybe that had protected me. Maybe it had softened the blow a little bit for years of the rising anti-trans sentiment, or maybe I'm just stupid and unobservant. I don't know, but it suddenly hit me like a truck. I mean, more so in the last year, with the anti-trans bills in Texas and everything. I mean, that was upsetting. Species in Texas, that was really upsetting. And then the High Court case over here with the detransitioner, that was shocking. I was concerned when that happened. I was like, oh great, it's gonna get worse, isn't it? But I don't know, I can't help but feel hope. I can't help but feel hope that things are maybe settling down, maybe getting better. I don't know. All I know is that my life as a trans person has been a big old roller coaster. A really big roller coaster. Good points, bad points, high points. I was gonna say not many low points, but that's a lie. I mean, the attitude towards me in high school, I was bullied before I came out, was also slightly my fault, I will admit, and maybe that was just exasperated by the fact I came out as trans, and maybe the fact that they didn't like me beforehand tarnished their view of trans people, but that's not my problem. They have Google and social media and general media and the ability to judge their opinions off more than me. But no matter, I don't care, really. Well, I do, because if there's a chance that they're out harming my trans brothers and sisters, that's bad. Phone, shut up. Anyway, it was kind of my fault, because I was very much I'm better kinda in high school. I was like, yes, you have these lowly desires and these lowly interests, and I was, to put it bluntly, not nice. Not very nice at all. And, yeah. Probably led to some people not liking me very much. Which is valid, because if I met me from back then, I wouldn't like me very much. If I met me from 3 years ago, I wouldn't like me very much. If I met me from now, well, I don't like me very much. But I'm a decent person now, and I don't have that holier-than-thou kind of thing going on anymore. I'm a lot more chill. Kind of calmed down, weirdly. People thought I'd get worse, but I calmed down, and I think I'm a much better person now. If this video is hard to follow, I'm sorry. My brain's leaping around subjects really quickly because, yeah. It's a thing. I think I'm going to end it here. I mean, it's not really much to say. I just want to make a little live Pride thing. Test out my new camera, really. I mean, you'll be seeing it in streams when I start streaming again. So what I will say is have a very happy Pride Month. If you are in the situations I was in, then good luck. It gets better. You'll be okay. Keep your head up. You're going to be good. You're going to be fine. Everything's going to be cool. Thank you for watching. And goodbye.